Hello and welcome to episode number 7 of Color Theory and Understanding Color. Today we are going to be looking at split complementaries and we're going to be looking at triadic color. So you're familiar with this bad boy color wheel. So you remember complementaries. So complementaries are any color that is opposite to another color on the color wheel. Doesn't matter what color it is. So split complementaries are pretty much how they sound. Have a look at my diagrams. So usually the complementary is right across from one another on the color wheel. In this case, they are the two colors on either side. So in my diagram there, you can see that opposite the red, you've got the blue-green and the yellow-green instead of the actual green. And then the opposite, when you're looking at the green to the red, instead of the complementaries being green and red, you've got the split, which are the two on the side of the red, which is the orange-red and the blue-violet. You, of course, can do your split complementary with any of the colors on the color wheel, and they give you a little bit more freedom of color than you would if you just had the straight complementary. Now let's look at triadic color schemes or triadic color.
Looking at our famous color wheel, if you look at our 3 primary colors, between each primary color there are 3 other colors. If you get rid of those, you will have your first triad combination. And your first triad combination are the primary colors. Anywhere in the color wheel where you get rid of those 3 colors between each color, and they're evenly spaced, you're going to have these triad combinations. So there's no particular order. This is just, I called it triad combo 2, where you have a red-orange, yellow-green, and a blue-violet. And then another one would be orange, and then you have a green and a violet. The next one is a red-violet, a yellow-orange, and a blue-green.
I have to confess something. I have never used a triadic color scheme in any of my paintings, at least not knowingly. Maybe I did it by accident, but looking over my body of work, I can't see that I've ever done it. And I really don't use split complementaries either, because I usually paint in monochromatic sort of color schemes. So this is going to be fun today to create a painting using either the split complementaries or using a triadic color scheme. So you're going to create a painting doing that, and I'm going to create a painting doing that, and if you want, you can create 2. That would be even better. Do one painting with the split complementary color scheme and one painting using the triadic color scheme. And you can find lots of inspiration. You can actually just go to Pinterest and search for paintings done with split complementary colors or paintings done with triadic colors, and all of these beautiful paintings will pop up. I'll share one that I found on Pinterest by an artist called Gretchen Hancock, and it's really fresh, bright colors. It looks gorgeous. So you go find your inspiration, I'll go find my inspiration, and I'll meet you back at the easel. Okay, so let's get started.
Here's that cute image by Gretchen Hancock I was telling you about, and that is a triadic color scheme. I've decided that I'm going to paint an image from Venice, and I'm going to use the triadic colors. I'm going to use orange, the violet, and the green. Those are the 3 colors. And remember, if you use whatever you're using, if you do the split complementaries or you do triadic, you can use all of these colors. All of the tints and tones that you've made, you can use them all. You could even mix them together. You will get mud though. You know, if you mix all of those, it's like mixing 2 complementaries together. You will get muddy colors, but that's okay. You might need some mud to tone things down, or you might just want to tone your orange down with some black, tone your green down with some black, etc., etc. And so I have this image which I can really play with these different greens in here and make these green, or I can do that image, which is a lot more work. So people always ask me, what photograph's easier? I always go, oh man, they're both going to have their difficulties. This one is going to be harder because of all of these angles and the perspective is crazy. But as far as detail and stuff, that's, you just got a few bits of detail in there and the rest of it is not going to be that detailed. Where over here, you've got loads and loads of detail. I could always this is the actual normal paint drawing is like that. And then I've zoomed up in that one section because I thought that was going to be easier, at least to draw. But I can always even zoom up a little bit more. Does that make it easier or harder? There's just a lot of detail in these individual things. So I like both images. And I might have to think about it for a few more minutes, make a cup of tea and stare at them for a while and see what one really inspires me the most. At the moment, there's little bits of this that I really love, like that little bit in here. Maybe I could just zoom in and just do that bit. Why do I have to complicate things by putting in the whole scene? I could just put in a little snippet of that. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll do that. You'll see me in a minute, and you'll know what I decided. There's the beautiful image that I've decided on, which is outside my window in Venice, where we were staying. And I'm going to start this drawing in willow charcoal. You can see now that I've popped my drawing upside down, and now I'm just using the dark that you see that I'm putting down on my board is just my way of finding out the form and how much that dark space is taking up room on the page and what form it is. So it's just another way of getting your image. It doesn't really matter how you start your drawing or if you want to go straight to paint. I'm just sharing the way that I've decided to create my drawing today. And you'll notice throughout this whole series that I haven't always started my paintings the same. It really depends on my mood. So you don't have to do what I'm doing here. You can do it any way that feels right for you to do it. I'm finished my drawing good enough for me to begin with some paint, and I'm going to get some black and either a bit of green or a little bit of my orange, and I'm going to go over all of that in with a little bit of water, and I'm going to go over all of that charcoal just to pick up that drawing. I have pre-mixed my colors, my violet, my green, and my orange. So that's the Triadics here. Those are the colors I'm using with all their tints and tones and everything. I can always, if I want to tone down that, I can, try the green or the purple and see what different tones I can get to get, maybe some muddier colors. I don't normally do this. I don't normally do a bunch of pre-mixed colors. It's just for this particular exercise. Normally, even if I was doing an exercise like that, I would just keep mixing a fresh green. I would paint as I needed the color, which means that it would always be a little bit different. But that's because I understand how to mix. So once you really understand how to mix colors, you don't have to do this because it'll become second nature. I've mixed some green and some black and a little bit of water, and I'm just going over my charcoal in the areas that are green. And then I'm going to rinse off my brush, and I'm just going to use a little bit of black, a tiny little bit of orange to get the rest of the charcoal areas that are not green, and I'm wiping it off with the sock. So there's no more charcoal left. And now I'm getting my orange and mixing a little bit of purple in there to tone it down. So I'm getting my dark tones in there first. And then I build up to, I start with the darker things and work my way up to light. So dark, medium, light, that's always the way that I paint. I forgot to mention what I was painting my acrylics on. It is acid-free mounting board. I got it from the framers. It was an offcut. You can go to your framer and ask them if they have any offcuts. You'll notice that when I'm painting that orange background, I have repainted about 5 times. It was many times I could have gone with what I had. I was just overthinking it. And sometimes you will do that as an artist. You'll overthink something and really could have just gone with the original thing that you put down and could have saved you a lot of time. Some extra color notes. When I was painting the greens of the different trees and also the shutters, sometimes I used the green with a little bit of purple, and sometimes I use the green with a little bit of orange, and sometimes adding white to those mixtures and sometimes not. So now I'm just gonna let you listen to some music. Now I'm nearly finished my artwork, but I'm looking at the top right hand side of my painting and it looks to me like there's something missing. So I'm going to put the laundry lines that were in the original photo reference, but I'm going to raise them so they're in that space. And then I'm going to get some willow charcoal and I'm going to work a little bit of that into my painting just so I can have some organic, more of a looser line than using a paintbrush. And sometimes I like to do that if I'm working on paper or board or a flatter surface. So that is my Triadic color scheme painting all done. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to like and subscribe. And I will see you for our very last lesson as soon as you're ready to watch it. Thanks for joining me. Bye.